Wow, guys, have I got one for you today? OMG, as they say. So, this is a fascinating clip of Jimmy Dore, and I'm going to narrate a little. But finally, we see none other than Mr. Gates admitting what we were saying since 2020 and got censored for. And there's no way to censor this because it's the words of Mr. Gates himself, and the comedian Jimmy Dore is simply commenting on what he says. But here we go.
And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than.
How did you know, Jimmy? How did you find that out?
Isn't it weird that I knew that before him? Isn't it weird that I knew that? A pot-smoking comedian in his garage somehow knew that before Bill Gates, Mr. Vaccine.
And the experts at the foundation.
And the experts at the foundation didn't know it. Isn't that weird that they didn't know it had a low fatality rate? Do you hear what he's saying? And it mostly affects the elderly. And he said it was like the flu. That's what he said. Now, if I said those things, they'd take my channel down on YouTube.
Exactamundo, Jimmy. I got censored to hell and back, shadow banned, everything for saying exactly that and showing the actual data at the same time. Most celebrated scientists, doctors and epidemiologists of all time, one of the most published and cited. He did the antibody studies with others and showed the same kind of 0.15% mortality rate for this particular pathogen. And of course, 1,000 times worse for the elderly frail versus younger people. And essentially, it was in the envelope of a bad or severe flu, which you are now allowed to say because I guess Mr. Gates can say it, therefore little people can say it too.
Literally, everyone who looked at the data said it had a low fatality rate and that it was a disease mainly in the elderly. But you weren't allowed to say it. And the people who looked into the data were shamed for doing their own research. What are you, looking into the facts? What are you, reading? Everyone knows that nothing good comes from reading.
Yep. Imagine reading and being able to understand basic data, basic rates, basic quotients, simple math. That makes you a menace to society. I'll just leave you now with the original clip again, just in case you didn't hear it correctly the first time.
And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than.